The most disturbing thing about the House of the Dragon Season 3 finale isn't the Battle of Tumbleton. It isn't the dragons. It isn't even Helena's death. It's what happens to Rhaenyra. Because by the end of this episode, the woman who spent years demanding that Westeros recognize her right to rule finally gets exactly what she wanted. And somehow, she looks more dangerous than ever. The finale doesn't simply move the dance of the dragons forward. It changes what this war means. So let's break down what really happened, why Helena's death matters, what happened at Tumbleton, and why Rhaenyra may have just crossed a line she can never uncross. Major spoilers ahead. The Battle of Tumbleton. The episode finally delivers the battle the season has been building toward. Daemon arrives with his army, including Roddy the Ruin and the Winter Wolves, intending to crush Ormond Hightower's forces at Tumbleton. But Ormond has prepared a horrifying defense. He placed his children near the weakest parts of the city's fortifications, knowing Daemon has to choose between using car axes and risking innocent lives. Daemon initially holds back, but as the battle becomes increasingly desperate, he finally unleashes car axes. The gates are destroyed, and Rhaenyra's forces begin pouring into the city. Then everything falls apart. Ulf White betrays Rhaenyra. The dragon rider who once seemed like one of her greatest weapons suddenly turns his dragon against her forces. But Ulf doesn't simply attack Daemon's army. He turns his dragon against Tumbleton itself. Fire consumes the city, and in the chaos, Ormond and Roddy are killed. It's a devastating reminder of one of the central rules of this war. The moment dragons become involved, victory stops meaning what it used to mean. An army can fight another army, but a dragon can erase an entire battlefield. And Ulf has just demonstrated why giving ordinary men the power of dragons was always going to be dangerous. But Hugh's story is different. Hugh Hammer was supposed to be another potential traitor. The books give us one version of his story, but the show takes a different path. Hugh doesn't betray Rhaenyra during the battle. Instead, he ignores his orders and enters Tumbleton on foot because he is desperately searching for his family. And what he finds is horrifying. His family is dead. Ulf's betrayal has destroyed the very people Hugh was trying to save. That changes Hugh's position completely. Because while Ulf sees his dragon as a path to status and power, Hugh sees what that power actually costs. And that distinction could become extremely important going forward. The dragon seeds were supposed to save Rhaenyra's cause. Instead, one of them has already betrayed her, while another has been pushed toward a much darker understanding of the war. Aegon is alive, and that's what breaks Rhaenyra. But Tumbleton isn't the only crisis. Rhaenyra receives devastating news. Aegon is alive, and Sunfyre is alive too. Worse, they're attacking forces in the Riverlands. For Rhaenyra, this changes everything. Because Aegon was supposed to be the symbol of the green cause that she had already defeated. Now that symbol is back, and Rhaenyra begins to panic. She decides she needs something more than military victories. She needs legitimacy. So she goes to the High Septon and demands to be officially anointed queen. But the faith refuses, and Rhaenyra's response tells us just how far she has fallen. She orders her men to kill the religious leaders who refuse her. Then she walks outside before the people of King's Landing. And instead of simply arguing that she is Viserys' chosen heir, she reveals the secret prophecy, the Song of Ice and Fire, the coming darkness, the belief that the Targaryens must unite Westeros to survive what is coming. But then Rhaenyra goes even further. She declares herself the prince that was promised. And this is where the finale makes its most important statement about her character. Rhaenyra isn't simply asking people to accept her anymore. She's telling them that history, prophecy, and destiny have chosen her. The show's creators have confirmed that this particular claim is not in Fire and Blood. It was deliberately created for the series to show Rhaenyra's transformation and her increasingly desperate relationship with power. Rhaenyra has become something different. This is why the finale feels so uncomfortable. Rhaenyra isn't suddenly evil. That's too simple. She's terrified. She's grieving. She's surrounded by enemies. She has lost people she loves. And every time she tries to gain control, the world seems to take something else from her. But desperation changes people. At the beginning of the story, Rhaenyra wanted the throne because her father chose her. Now she believes she needs the throne because the fate of the entire world depends on her. That is a much more dangerous belief. Because once someone convinces themselves that they are necessary, almost anything can become justified. And the finale makes that transformation unmistakable. Even her appearance tells the story. She's dressed for war, wearing armor that resembles dragon wings, carrying her father's crown. She's no longer presenting herself simply as a queen. She's presenting herself as a chosen warrior, a messianic figure, someone who believes she has a sacred mission. Emma Darcy and showrunner Ryan Condal have both described this as Rhaenyra's movement toward tyranny, while also emphasizing that her transformation is rooted in the show's larger theme, the corrupting nature of power. Then Helaena dies, and then comes the moment that makes everything even darker. Helaena has spent the entire season seeing things other people cannot see. Her visions have been warnings. Her prophetic tapestry has been building toward something. And in the finale, Helaena finally gives Rhaenyra one last warning. But Rhaenyra doesn't understand it. Helaena tells her that simply being alive isn't the same thing as truly living. Then she walks toward the window, and she jumps. Helaena dies after falling onto the spikes below. It's a brutal ending for the character who, in many ways, represented the last piece of innocence in this story. But Helaena leaves behind one final message, her completed tapestry, and hidden within it are visions of what is still to come. Most importantly, it points toward Rhaenyra's own death by fire. That means Helena's final act isn't simply suicide. It's a warning. And the most tragic part is that Rhaenyra may be too consumed by power to listen. The real meaning of the finale. So what is the season 3 finale actually saying? The Dance of the Dragons was never really about which side was right. It was about what happens when people convince themselves that they are right. Rhaenyra believes destiny is on her side. Aegon believes his birthright is on his side. Daemon believes strength is on his side. Daemon believes power is the only language Westeros understands. And now the dragons are turning those beliefs into fire. The tragedy is that every character thinks they're saving House Targaryen. But every decision brings the family closer to destruction. And Rhaenyra may now be walking the darkest path of all, because she finally has the thing she always wanted. Not just the Iron Throne, but absolute certainty that she deserves it. And in Westeros, certainty can be more dangerous than ambition. Season 3 ends with the Targaryens more powerful than ever, and more broken than ever. The dragons are still flying. The war is still raging. But the person Rhaenyra was when this story began is almost gone. And if Helena's final prophecy is correct, the throne she is fighting so desperately to keep may eventually lead her straight into the fire. So here's the question. Is Rhaenyra becoming the villain of her own story, or is Westeros simply turning her into the ruler always feared she would become? Because Season 4 won't just be about who wins the dance. It will be about what remains of House Targaryen when the fire finally dies.